Well, hey guys, welcome to the channel. If we haven't met yet, my name is Will.
Dollar is what I need. I need.
It's sexy. It's really sexy. And yeah, I'm a wellness coach, so I usually go by Coach Will. And here's what you have to look forward to. Every evening, the wife and I, here's my wife Elspeth.
Hi.
And our dog Daisy, we go on family walks. And we started this ever since we moved a few months ago. What I want to talk with you all about on these walks is health and wellness, of course, because I'm a wellness coach. But more importantly, how I healed two different yet relatable autoimmune conditions. So I want to share with you our journey, because she's got a lot to say.
Yes, I do.
She played a big role in it. Obviously I did, because I was the one that was sick. And I want to share with you all the journey, but I also want to share with you the truth about my experience and what I learned. And just to be honest with you guys, I was diagnosed in college. And if you haven't yet, you can go see my Crohn's colitis lifestyle video with Dane Johnson, because I did work with him a little bit towards the end of my healing journey. And so he's got a testimonial of mine on there, on his website or YouTube channel. But we really want to share with you all what we wish someone would have shared with us when we got started. Because, to be honest with you, ever since I was diagnosed, I knew at some point in my life that it was all gonna come to a head and I was gonna have to address it in some manner. Medication, natural medicine, whatever it might be, I knew that I was gonna have to address it, right? And I went on probably, 15, 18-year journey of figuring out the truth, the lies, the marketing and advertising deceptions that I fell victim to, that so many other people with autoimmune conditions fall victim to. They go spend thousands of dollars that they don't have in, and they put in these the dream that this supplement, this device will be the cure-all, right? And so I want to save you guys from making those poor choices, poor decisions. I spent tens of thousands of dollars on that stuff, and while they may have some value and some metric in health and wellness, I want to really clear the air and just be honest with you guys about how to heal an autoimmune condition, because I would say 99.9% of the information out there is bullshit. They say eat this diet, take these supplements, blah blah blah, and it's bullshit. They're all half-truths. No one's telling you the full truth. And let me tell you, I learned something from a good man that I've learned a lot from, Dr. Jack Cruz. And I don't quote him very often because he's a pretty controversial man, but he said that half-truths lead to full lies. So that's what you're gonna hear all about. Jaju. Hey, Jaju. Bobby. Hey, Bobby.
Do you have an ear tuck? Eye on the prize, Dad. Eye on the prize.
I'm pretty serious right now. All right, so let's start with the story, because that's a great place to start. So I'm 37 years old. I was born in Lawrence, Kansas, to a wonderful family. I have an older sister, younger brother.
What's your social?
My social is 513-927232. Just kidding, that's not what it is. And I, from a very young age, had a very strong will, and I would say that I was a difficult child, to say the least. If you talk to my mom, she would certainly probably reiterate that she had a challenge with my willpower and my drive to take on challenges and to push myself. I played every sport you could possibly play. I also skateboarded, rollerbladed, BMX biked, just anything that I could push the limits with, anything that I could challenge myself with, anything that was physical, I was all over it. I was drawn to the physical world because I had a lot of natural talent and ability with balance and coordination, and so I gravitated to those kinds of sports naturally, and developed quite a lot of confidence and skill, and that led to playing high school and college football. And why I'm telling you all of that was because in my adolescent years, I developed what I later came to recognize as a very imbalanced perspective and expectation of myself and of the world. I constantly pushed myself really hard and was very much all in or not in at all on stuff. I'll share with you guys why that is so important later on. I had the typical diet. We had, I was blessed that my mom grew up on a farm, my dad did too, and so we gardened a lot. We canned our own food, and so we did eat really well by and large. Of course, we did eat the typical American diet of cheeseburgers, fast food here and there, but we did eat a pretty good diet, to say the least. In college, I studied exercise science, exercise physiology, but I went to college to play football, and if I had to go to school in order to play football, then I would go to school so that I could play football. And my freshman year, I had a season-ending injury, and that was pretty tough. So when my football career ended, I had to decide what I was going to do with my life, and I decided that I wanted to help people. I knew that for sure, that I wanted to help people, and if I could do that physically, training them with their nutrition, their lifestyle, that kind of stuff. And unbeknownst to me at that time, wellness coaching was not really much of a thing at that time. This is early 2000s, or mid 2000s rather. I got to the middle part of my undergrad, and at that time I had what most people would just call a midlife crisis, but it was really in my mid-20s, early mid-20s. I had a very serious relationship that broke up. I had lost football. I hadn't ever really paid a lot of attention to academics, and so I was lacking a lot of self-confidence, self-worth, self-esteem when it came to my my knowledge and cognitive abilities. And around that time I was living a very hedonistic lifestyle, going hard on the weekends, partying, drinking, still training, lifting weights, working out, training with friends, playing intramural sports. But I can distinctly remember feeling this void inside, that there was something wrong. Something wasn't right about me, and I couldn't ever put my finger on it, and I didn't know what it was. And I chased the typical the typical things that college students, that young people chase to try to fill that void in their lives. And of course it didn't fill it. In fact, it just got me in trouble, and it just exposed that hole and made it more painful, not less painful. And so I believe the end of my sophomore year was when I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis. And the way that happened was I went to the bathroom one day, and something didn't feel right. I looked in the toilet and I saw blood, and I literally remember having this this gut-wrenching feeling that I was literally shitting out my insides. And I was terrified. I can't even begin to express to you how scary it was to see that, because I had no idea that was even possible. I had heard of hemorrhoids. I have heard of, different kinds of gut ailments like that, but nothing to this extent. I had no experience with IBD. It wasn't something that was really talked about yet at that time. I think that the major treatment at that time was mainly, steroids, long-term steroids, and mesalamine, the anti-inflammatory, had just begun to come out. So it was still very much a new diagnosis. So went through the typical response, went to the doctor, primary doctor. I remember him doing a anal rectal exam, which was not fun, having a piece of plastic shoved up your butthole. And he said, yeah, I see inflammation, and you need to go to the GI doc. And the GI doc did a colonoscopy and confirmed that I had ulcerative colitis, and gave me the typical response that most people get, which is it's incurable, you're gonna have this forever, and you're gonna be on drugs the rest of your life. Given my strong will, given my lack of respect, if you will, for the medical community, I did take the medicine for a little while, and eventually it went away, and I never thought much of it, but progressively symptoms would reoccur particularly when stress levels were high, and so then I would have to go back and get on medicine again to calm everything down. But it was at that time that I knew, whether I put it off for years, decades, or not, I was gonna have to address it. That there was this void, there was something missing in my life, and I had this illness, and I knew they were connected in some way, but I didn't understand how. And honestly, I was so afraid at the time, I just could not get myself to flip that rock over and look inside and find out what it really was. And so that's the beginning of my experience and my story. So I want to leave you with that as my beginning. So part 2 will be after college, or after the diagnosis, the next steps that we took, and we'll go from there. So thanks for tuning in. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Make sure that you follow if you want to hear more of these stories and you want to learn more about how to heal autoimmune conditions, because again, I can tell you right now, I've done the research, we've done the work, we've followed for decades trying to find people that know what they're talking about, and I can tell you that 99.9% of people out there, they don't have a damn clue what they're talking about, how to heal this condition, how to heal autoimmune at all. And I believe that I can help you, so I would encourage you to tune in. If you want to find out the truth, it will set you free, because it set me free. So we'll see you then.